You're probably still feeling the aftershocks of a crisis that happened over 15 years ago, even if you don't realize it. If your parents lost their jobs, if your family stopped trusting banks, if you hesitate before investing, the 2008 crash might be the reason. And here's the crazy part. At the end of this video, you'll understand how one global financial meltdown rewired the way millions of people spend, save, and invest. Maybe even you. Let's go back to the day everything started falling apart. In September 2008, Lehman Brothers, a massive investment bank, collapsed. It filed for bankruptcy with over $600 billion in debt. That one event triggered a domino effect that would unravel the global financial system. Banks stopped trusting each other. Credit froze. Panic spread like wildfire. Millions of people lost their homes, their jobs, their retirement savings in just months. But while Wall Street burned, Main Street paid the price. Suddenly, people realized something terrifying. Their money wasn't as safe as they thought. Before 2008, most households didn't question the system. You saved a little, maybe bought a house, trusted your 401k, and hoped everything would work out. After 2008, that blind trust disappeared. Families started hoarding cash. Credit scores became sacred. People delayed buying homes, getting married, having kids, because financial uncertainty became the new normal. The crisis also triggered a deep skepticism toward big banks and traditional investing. Millions pulled their money from the stock market and parked it in savings accounts, even if it meant losing to inflation. And for a lot of people, debt became a dirty word. Before the crash, easy credit was everywhere. Zero-down mortgages, multiple credit cards, personal loans. No one really asked if it was sustainable. After the crash, we all got a brutal education. Suddenly, debt-free became a personal finance goal, not a luxury. People started building emergency funds. They learned the importance of living below their means. They discovered the power of budgeting, not as a restriction, but as a survival strategy. And this shift wasn't temporary. Even today, the SCAR generation, millennials who came of age during the crisis, still carry that trauma. They're more cautious with money, less likely to invest, more likely to rent. They trust fintech apps more than banks because they learned the hard way that no system is bulletproof. No job is guaranteed. No investment is risk-free. But that mindset also sparked something powerful. The rise of financial literacy. Platforms, creators, and communities emerged to teach what schools never did, how money actually works. And this movement is still growing. The crisis didn't just shake our confidence, it created a financial awakening. For the first time, everyday people realized that no one was coming to save them. Not the banks, not the government, not even their employers. And that realization sparked a quiet revolution. Millions of people started asking questions they had never asked before. What is the Fed? How does a mortgage actually work? Why did no one teach me this in school? The hunger for financial knowledge exploded. YouTube channels, blogs, and podcasts became the new classroom. Personal finance wasn't just for Wall Street insiders anymore, it was becoming mainstream. And it wasn't just about budgeting or saving. People started learning how to invest, how to build wealth, how to take control. The crash had exposed the cracks in the system, but instead of just complaining, people started learning how to navigate it. This shift gave birth to a new kind of investor, one that doesn't wear a suit or work on Wall Street. The DIY investor. Armed with apps like Robinhood, Acorns, and eToro, a whole generation began buying stocks, ETFs, and crypto, often with just a few dollars. Suddenly, investing was no longer a gated club, it was a playground. But this wasn't just about access, it was about mindset. The trauma of 2008 made people realize that relying on a job or a pension wasn't enough. They had to build something for themselves. Side hustles, digital businesses, real estate, dividend investing. These weren't hobbies, they were survival strategies. And technology made it easier than ever. Before the crisis, investing meant calling your broker. After the crisis, you could invest from your phone while standing in line for coffee. Well, that changed everything. Financial literacy went from being a niche topic to a cultural movement, and it's still growing. Reddit communities like EY Personal Finance and EY Financial Independence attracted millions of users. People started tracking net worth, cutting expenses, optimizing taxes, not out of fear, but out of empowerment. Because once you understand the rules of money, you stop being a pawn in the system. You become a player. And that's exactly what the 2008 crisis forced people to do. Stop trusting blindly and start learning actively. The idea of financial independence took off. FIRE. Financial independence, retire earliest, became a goal for thousands. The movement challenged traditional paths. Work 40 years, retire at 65, hope for the best. That model felt broken, so people built a new one. Live on less, invest the rest, build freedom. For many, the crisis created a sense of urgency. I never want to be vulnerable again. That's why people started preparing, and not just for retirement, but for recessions, layoffs, emergencies. The memory of 2008 became a driving force. But there's a twist. While some used the pain as fuel to build smarter habits, others went the opposite direction, giving up on investing altogether. Still traumatized, still skeptical, still sitting on the sidelines. And that's dangerous. Because while the rules of the game changed, the need to play didn't. In the final part, we're going to talk about what all this means for you right now. How the habits born from the 2008 crash could either make or break your financial future. And why the people who adapt will always have the advantage. The 2008 crisis was a turning point, but not everyone turned the same way. Some people used it as a wake-up call. They learned, adapted, and started building. Others froze. Scared by the volatility, they stayed out of the market, avoided risk, and missed one of the longest bull runs in history. Both reactions make sense. When you watch your retirement account get cut in half, it's hard to trust the system again. But here's the truth. The people who learn to navigate uncertainty are the ones who came out stronger. Because the biggest lesson of the 2008 crash wasn't avoid risk. It was understand risk, manage it, use it to your advantage. And that mindset separates those who grow their wealth from those who just protect it. The crash made clear that playing it safe can actually be dangerous. Keeping all your money in cash feels secure until inflation eats it alive. Avoiding the stock market feels smart until you realize you've missed out on years of compounding. The people who thrived post-crisis didn't wait for certainty. They learned to take calculated risks. They built diversified portfolios, created multiple income streams, focused on long-term thinking over short-term fear. And now, those lessons matter more than ever. We live in a world shaped by the aftermath of 2008. Low interest rates, high debt levels, volatile markets, and growing inequality. Jobs aren't as stable. Pensions are disappearing. Social safety nets are thinner. In this environment, personal finance isn't optional, it's essential. Understanding how to invest, how to manage risk, how to prepare for downturns, that's your shield. And the great irony? The crisis that made people fear money also gave them the tools to master it. Today, we have more access, more transparency, and more financial education than any generation before us. We can automate our savings, invest in global markets, build wealth with nothing but a phone and Wi-Fi, but only if we choose to use those tools. And that's the final uncomfortable truth from 2008. The system isn't fair. It never was. But now you have a choice. Stay paralyzed by fear or get empowered by knowledge. Because financial freedom isn't about luck. It's about intention, strategy, action. You don't need to be rich to start, but you do need to start to get rich. So what's the takeaway? The 2008 crisis exposed the cracks in the financial system, but it also revealed something more powerful. That no one will care more about your money than you. It forced us to ask better questions, build better habits, and redefine what security really means. If you want to thrive in this new reality, you can't afford to ignore your finances. You have to take ownership, learn the rules, make money work for you, not the other way around. So if this video sparks something in you, don't let it fade. Dig deeper, ask smarter questions, build a plan. And remember, the people who win with money aren't the ones who avoid crisis. They're the ones who prepare for it. If you learned something today, hit like and subscribe. And check out our next video on the 3 investing myths that are keeping you broke. And let me know in the comments, how did the 2008 crisis affect you or your family? Because the sooner we talk about it, the sooner we learn from it.